Cradle of Humankind is a UNESCO World Heritage Site that's centered around dolomitic limestones that stretch along the northern and western edge of the greater Johannesburg area. It is a surprising combination of pristine wilderness and partially developed areas, some of it for tourism.
When you talk about the Cradle of Humankind, we are talking of a huge area. It covers about 53,000 hectares of land.
Cradle of Humankind is actually a place of experience.
The Cradle is such an awesome adventure destination which is so close to Johannesburg and Pretoria and Rustenburg.
When we were tasked in the year 1999 to start a tourism industry in this area, Sterkfontein had a tiny little cafe, and that was it. There were some 47 tourism offerings in the area. I'm talking about places to stay and that sort of thing. There are now over 400 in a period of 10 years.
You see tourism endeavors which are creating jobs in the region that actually mean that the local people understand to protect this natural heritage of all of humanity because it means their livelihood. And that's why tourism is so important.
This is a very interesting cave, but never mind the significance, because I mean, there's a lot of interesting fossils that came here. When you talk about Mrs. Flares, when you talk about Littlefoot.
At Sterkfontein, you first have a museum that particularly explains that site and its rich history. You can also go underground, and that's a real treat because you're going into the heart, effectively, of that cave system, which is one of the richest points of information about human origins in the entire world.
It's of great importance specifically to understand the history, not of a single individual, but the history of humanity as a whole, understanding as to why are we different at this moment and what is it that actually makes us common.
Our future for the next 100, 200, 300 years is not a certainty. And therefore, it is vitally important to consider where we've come from, where we are, and as I say, more importantly, where are we going? And that is what the exhibition at Marapeng does.
It is fundamental that we use tourism and science to support local communities, to create jobs, and that whole mission then is to protect those sites, that environment, and our neighbors, the animals and the flora that live within that. And that balance is fundamental and core to the mission of creating sustainable world-class tourism in the region. I see a Cradle of Humankind that is one of the most dynamic tourism and research centers for human origins, and a place I hope that every human being in the world needs to set foot on to have completed their life journey, to understand, what am I?